Hello guys, my name is Ray Anthony Pranoto, ex-Science 1 number 31. Now I will tell you story about Cinderella. Enjoy the video. Once upon a time, there lived an unhappy young girl named Ella. Her mother was dead, and her father had married a widow with two daughters. Nothing was good for them. Shoes, dress, delicious food, soft bed, and every home comfort. Her stepmother didn't like her at all. All her kind thoughts and loving thoughts were for her own daughters. But for the unhappy girl, there was nothing at all. No dress, only her stepsister. No lovely dish, nothing but scrap. No rest and no comfort. She had to work hard all day. Only when evening came, she allowed to sit for a while by the fire, near the cinders. That's why everybody called her Cinderella. Cinderella used to spend long hours all alone talking to the cats and birds. The cat says meow, which really means cheer up. You have something neither of your stepsister has, and that is beauty. It was quite true. Cinderella, even dressed in old rags, was a lovely girl, while her stepsisters, no matter how splendid and elegant their clothes, were still clumsy, lumpy, and ugly as always would. One day, beautiful new dress arrived at the house. A ball was to be held at the palace, and the stepsisters were getting ready to go. Cinderella didn't even dare ask if she could go too. She knew very well what the answer would be. You are staying at home to wash the dishes, scrub the floors, and throw down the beds for your stepsister. They will come home, tired and very sleepy. Cinderella sighed. Oh dear, I'm so unhappy. And the cat murmured meow. Suddenly, something amazing happened. As Cinderella was sitting all alone, there was a burst of light and a fairy appeared. Don't be afraid, Cinderella, said the fairy. I know you would love to go to the ball. And so you shall. How can I? Dressed in rags? Cinderella replied. The servant will turn me away. The fairy smiled. With a flick of her magic wand, Cinderella found herself wearing the most beautiful dress she had ever seen. Then the fairy turned to the cat. You bring me 7 mice, and remember, they must be alive. Cinderella soon returned with the pumpkin and the cat with 7 mice he had caught in the cellar. Now, for your coach, said the fairy. A really lady would never go to a ball on foot. Quick, get me a pumpkin. Oh, of course, said Cinderella. With a flick of the magic wand, the pumpkin turned into a sparkling coach, and the mice became 6 white horses, while the 7 mouse turned into a coachman in a smart uniform and carrying a whip. Cinderella could hardly believe her eyes. You shall go to the ball, Cinderella, but remember, you must leave at midnight. That is when my spell ends. Your coach will turn back into a pumpkin, and the horse will become mice again. You will be dressed in rags and wearing clogs instead of these glass slippers. Do you understand? Cinderella smiled and said, Yes, I understand. Cinderella had a wonderful time at the ball until she heard the first stroke of midnight. She remembered what the fairy had said, and without a word of goodbye, she slipped from the prince's arms and ran down the steps. As she ran, she lost one of her slippers, but not for a moment did she dream of stopping to pick it up. It's the last stroke of midnight. Were to sound, ah, what a disaster! that will be. Out she fled and vanished into the night. The prince, who was now madly in love with her, picked up the slippers and said to his mindsetters, "Go and search everywhere for the girl whose foot this slipper fits. I will never be content until I find her." So the mindsetters tried of the slippers on the foot of every girl in the land, until only Cinderella was left. The awful untidy girl simply cannot have been at the ball. Snapped the stepmother. "Tell the prince he ought to marry one of my two daughters. Can you see how ugly Cinderella is?" But to everyone's amazement, the shoes fit perfectly. Suddenly the fairy appeared and waved her magic wand. In a flash, Cinderella appeared in a splendid dress, shining with youth and beauty. Her stepmother and stepsister gaped at her in amazement, and the minister said, "Come with us, Cinderella. The prince is waiting you." So Cinderella married the prince and lived happily ever. Her stepmother and two daughters is forbidden go to the castle. Thank you guys, thank you for watching my storytelling. Bye bye.